Hello, hello, my friends. It is Aldo, and welcome back to the Knights of the Nerd Republic. You know what to do, and stay profitable.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
On which planet did
I
Luke
can tell
Skywalker
you everything
and Ben Solo
about this planet,
confront the Knights of Ren in
except
the
its
second
motherfucking name.
Buy merch. Your winner, by way of technical knockout.
We have some beautiful musicians.
I am the king. I am the reigning champion. I will always be above you. I am bigger than you. I am wiser than you. I am stronger than you. I am better than you. I am God.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Trivia Loser Jedi.
And I'm Scooter.
And we're here to tell you that we aren't that great at trivia, and I mean we're downright poo-poo at it. Yeah, ever since then I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about Elfrona will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. Now I have this like imaginary rivalry with you in my fucking head, where it's like, I want J-Ro!
Jared, you lost to me in trivia. You're a loser. You're a loser. I will not. You lost to me in trivia.
Jared lost to me in trivia. That charlatan friend, mind you, who has been ducking me and running from me for years now.
Your lust for J-Ro will destroy you.
And you will learn to rue the day you underestimated the power of the Bi Republic.
Is this your king? Is this your king?
Think about the things you applied to content creating and the things that you maybe have held you hold to a high standard that people also love, and there's that one little dark spot in all of this, and you're like, man, I can't believe that I've gotten this far and just being a part of a bigger community, but there's this one little black spot in this beautiful Monet of a painting, and it's just the fact that I kicked your ass in trivia. Literally nothing makes me happier.
Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic, the show where your favorite nerds talk all things about the galaxy far, far away. I am your host, Jared the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and joining me is our very own Italian stallion, the one-eyed knight, the Lord Keeper, Dr. Pershing himself, Connor Chiquiti.
What's up, everyone? Always glad to be here.
Oh, I know you are, baby. Connor's posted thirst traps on Twitter now. Hide your wife. The Chiquiti man is here to just run right through him. We also got, he's new here. We got the new guy. We got Case and Breon up in here.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy.
Howdy, partner. And joining us is dear friend of the show, the next person on my hit list after I chew up Scotty and spit him out, the iconoclast himself, the main villain of Twitter, Alden Diaz of Octo Radio.
Some say the protagonist and the savior. Some say that, I assure you. But yeah, good to be here. I was told that Star Wars was dead, so I don't know what we're going to talk about.
I know. Star Wars has been dead since...
Yeah. It died again.
16, 25th.
Uh,
I can't keep track.
Star Wars, like most comic book superheroes, dies, comes back, dies again, comes back. We love it, and then we hate it, and then it dies again.
Yes.
That
But
constant
yeah,
Phoenix cycle is fantastic.
yes, it truly is. Doing a little bit of housekeeping before we get into things. Obviously, as you just saw, as I've been promoting as much as I can, because I'm very excited for it. April 10th at 8 p.m. live and in person. The rematch cometh. Myself versus Scotty J-Ro. Scores will be settled, and I will finally get my revenge, and we will bring a new order to epic confrontations. So tune in for that. Like I said, live April 10th, 8 p.m. Scotty and I will be in the very same room for this match. So it is all riding on both Taylor and Katie to stop us from killing each other. Hands may get thrown. I know Alden is probably the only person on the screen actively rooting against me currently.
It's not so much an active, like, I want you to lose. It's just that I want to experience the future in which you have lost. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
like I want to see the timeline in which Scotty holds 2 W's. I think that that's funny to me. I don't know what that place looks like. Yeah, like I don't know what what the future holds in that scenario. I feel like maybe like a future Trunks version of one of us should come back and tell us what it looks like if you fail.
Well, it's funny because I am the main villain of Epic Confrontations. So that also adds a funny layer of, like, in theory, me losing should be the good timeline. In theory. Yes. In theory, me losing is what will save Epic Confrontations from me and the evil pan-dimensional cookie jar that is controlling me. Speaking of trivia, Epic Confrontations has a new match coming out this week. It is a doubleheader. The undercard is myself and the gentleman beneath me in a Star Wars Legends exhibition match that features a very special guest at the desk that we will not spoil the outcome of or the very special guest, but you're going to have to tune in to see that, as well as all the setup for the epic confrontation that will feature Scotty and I. All kinds of fun lore cutscenes and stuff. Fans of the Schmodown will be elated to see a lot of familiar faces. And I'm very excited for everybody to see that, as well as the triple threat that is the headliner of that, which will be Mo, who you guys saw on the channel before as part of our Andor coverage, Buck O'Brien, and Goose from Triad of the Force in the main event. And there's so much housekeeping to do. This Friday, today, when you're watching this is coming out on Friday, 7 p.m. tonight, we're doing our Jedi Council March Madness live stream. We're going to be pitting some of our favorite council masters against each other of the prequel era and seeing who comes out on top. I promised y'all a versus tournament to make up for the fact that we didn't have a proper one for last season. So I'm doing a mini little vanity project because I've wanted to do some type of Jedi Council gauntlet for a while. It's the day before my birthday, and I just want to, do some dumb shit that will also feature Alden on that stream as well. So stay tuned for that. And speaking of one last thing that I have involved with Alden, he and I do a lot together these days, and I think that's why he's trying to kill me in epic confrontations now, because he's tired of hearing my voice. I don't blame him. Ionized Bastards, all 7 episodes are out now. Go check that out. This is the most fun I've ever had working on anything ever. I mean that with every fiber of my being. I'm not going to spoil a single second of it. Connor has loved it. It's Taylor's favorite show on YouTube, even though the gentleman beneath me in all ways is above me in Taylor's heart because she likes Thalborg more than Fabian Martell, and I understand. But
that's fair.
It's very fair. It's very valid.
By design, he's very likable. But yeah, that's a actual play show run by our friend Michael, who is just a delight and has been on this channel and my show and all over. And yeah, it was a blast. It's not over, but now's the time to catch up.
Absolutely, yes. Season 1 finale. It's 7 episodes long. Definitely a breeze. as somebody who's been getting into more and more RPG real play shows,
Mhm.
I started with Dimension 20. I think they have like about 16 or 17 episodes, and they're like 2 big seasons with Fantasy High and Unsleeping City. They have their side quests, which are shorter and are about 7 episodes. That's how long this one was. Michael's trying to get me into Critical Role, and much to my surprise, that is a long fucking show. I thought
It's a lot.
D20 had a lot of episodes to a season. Critical Role has very quickly become D&D One Piece, and it is intimidating. But I have a pact with Michael. He's watching the Unsleepy City, and I am to watch the Mighty Nine. But back to Star Wars. We got a lot to talk about. Incredible episodes of The Bad Batch and The Mandalorian, as well as a kick-ass trailer for Jedi Survivor. But before we do that, we have a word from our sponsors at Sunday's Bloody Mary. And as I was telling Alden and Connor before we started, a development occurred while we were recording this week's episode of the Nerd Academy podcast, the main show proper, is that now their 3-time Drunken Tomato, they're a three-peat, 3 years in a row.
3 times.
3 times. Boom, boom, boom. 3-year award-winning spicy Caesar mix. It makes me so happy to say. I was elated when I saw that. I pressed stop on TNAP and I opened Twitter and I was like, yes. But their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, their mild mix, and their traditional mix as well. The traditional mix being vegan-friendly, of course. They also have their pickled dilly beans, okra, asparagus, and rim salt for all your garnish needs. And they also have some adorable tomato Bloody Mary themed merch you can get your hands on. All if you use the code TNAP at checkout, that'll shave 10% off your order to help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Go support Colin and Annie. We love them. They're the best. And yeah, without further ado, there's nobody else I can start this topic off with other than Connor. Connor, thoughts on the Jedi Survivor trailer, story trailer?
I think there's only one clip we need to play that only has one word to really describe what I thought. And I think I know you know what it is, Jared.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. This also is a slight surprise for Alden, a correction of sorts.
Sensational.
I have to get new extended versions of the clip so that they don't get cut off anymore.
It is longer. I've never heard him start the next sentence.
What he says is sensational. That's the word, sensational.
That's the word to describe it. Like,
that's the word.
I just seeing Grease. Like, obviously, if you've read, there's some stuff in this trailer that like you're like, oh, how did Grease get how does Grease have 3 arms now? Why does Marin have a new look? Go read or listen to Jedi Battle Scars by Sam Maggs.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Should we do like a not a spoiler warning, but like we will allude to things that connect to the trailer type warning?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's your warning.
Deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it basically. I really thought it was good. The thing that it does the thing that I like with the Survivor trailers that Fallen Order also did is that like they show a lot without really showing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because in Fallen Order, it was all about like we just really got most of the stuff with Cal and Seer and just some like little tidbits about the Jedi Order and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's only through actually playing the game do we find out like, okay, this is the actual story of like we have to find the Jedi. We have to find this holocron to try to recover the Order. But more importantly, heal Cal Kestis as a character because he's a broken man at the start of this game. And then this one, we get a little bit of more stuff. They're trying to probably find this one place and try to get a... I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. They're trying to possibly find a safe haven from the Empire. Maybe they've sort of reached their limit in this fight. Who knows? But we also get confirmation that that one gray looking dude who's apparently a Jedi is from the High Republic, which is a very,
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
He is the
for a
only
lot
man
of
I will
people.
ever accept being referred to as a gray Jedi.
Like, like that was very interesting for a lot of people, myself especially.
Yeah, that I was really excited by that because a lot of people were throwing that around, like from Jump, that like, oh, like there's this guy in gold robes, what's his whole deal? And
wisely, they'd only shown us like upper torso up to this point because that insignia is toward the belt line.
Yep.
And that
That's
was when we were all like, aha, like we finally have proof.
We knew it.
That's the one clip I still don't have yet is DiCaprio in what's one time doing the thing. No, absolutely. Well, there's another thing that I think is really interesting that is still kind of mysterious, and maybe it's early. It was an early trailer. It's not meant to fully reflect whatever. We know more about the Gendai bounty hunter. We know we know next to nothing about this this High Republic Jedi character, aside from the fact that he's clearly been in stasis. He's from the High Republic era, and he's pissed about what's happened to the Order in the galaxy and Republic at large. There's that guy with a red lightsaber from the first trailer still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's all. It doesn't quite look like. Yeah, it doesn't quite look like dark side armor. It looks like kind of bounty hunter-ish. Is he a force sensitive person? Is this somebody like a, because as new canon has been slowly building with Mandalorian characters in particular. Like this is not Legends where it's like lightsaber equals force sensitive.
Well, no, not even necessarily that guy in the armor. In the announcement trailer that was at Celebration, there's a scene where Cal is in a dark hallway.
Right. This is the one that starts with the Powan senator.
Yeah.
That trailer. Yeah.
And then all the way at the end of the room, like there's some guy who turns on a red, or I'd say guy, but there's some figure who turns on a red lightsaber. They're fully cloaked. People were like, oh, it looks like he's only holding his sword with one hand. Maybe is he only one hand? Is he only single arm to fight with? What's going on there? So like, I don't know. Like we got the High Republic guy in those trailers. We've seen the guy who's in stasis and pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But that's that first trailer is the only time we see this mysterious figure with a red lightsaber, and I'm very curious as to what that's all about.
It's obviously Galen Merrick, for sure. Galen Merrick, Canon Star Killer. Galen Merrick and One Arm Mace Windu are going to team up and
do a fusion dance.
Yeah.
Yes.
They fuse and become fusion dance. That's what it is. Yeah, I have no idea about any of this, which is the exciting thing. Like I think Connor, you sort of touched on that. Like, this is all sizzle in the best way. It's flavor, it's tone, it's visuals. Like they've done a great job of taking
like we're going back
multiple
to
trailers. Yeah, like they've got multiple trailers.
Like, this is great.
And multiple even game demos of this planet where he crash lands. We still don't know what it's called, what he's doing there, why. Yeah, like we
don't know what he's doing there, but it's like it's perfect.
Exactly. Similarly to like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, it feels like they've carved every trailer out of the first half hour, and it just like it's been so minimal. And like we said, there are battle scars things where it's like Grease is now missing one of his arms. He's got a cybernetic prosthetic.
Marin's got a new look.
That happened in the book. I'm not going to tell you how, by the way. It's a great scene. Everybody looks great. I love Seer with like bald with the tattoos now, and and Grease looks even more like a divorced dad. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love like Willie Nelson.
Gold member.
Willie Nelson. Grease.
Blue tracksuit for inexplicably like a ponytail that turns into facial hair. It's so weird.
I'm kind of warming up to like Cal's like vest tunic look. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like,
I am ponchos over vest, but we also know that we haven't even gotten to see the full depth of the customization because the people that have play tested it, like one of the guys, I think I excitedly texted our group chat. One of the guys said, "Yeah, my favorite cosmetic that I found so far is a headband, kind of like Rambo." or in Star Wars terms, kind of like Hunter. So it's like hairstyles are now in play, things like that they haven't even shown.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I knew about the hairstyles because from one of the gameplay demos, they Cal opens a chest or whatever bullshit, and that's what comes up on screen, like, you know, appearance unlocked, hairstyle, and it's like, whoa, like down to Cal's hairdo.
You know, we know about some of the, like, there's a Kenobi, Luke, and Han inspired outfits,
Dude,
but
the Kenobi look
you don't have to wear them
the
in totality.
Best one.
Yeah, that's what I was really excited about.
Yeah.
Like the Han and Luke ones,
take,
I'm not gonna lie, they look so fucking bad on him.
Well, I don't think they look bad. It's just,
awkward.
I don't want them to be cosplay, right? Like, it's like
Now
we're having such a nerdy conversation. I love it. I guess this is the right place. I am excited to just take like the black shirt from Luke's outfit, or the yellow jacket from Luke's outfit, or just the robe from Kenobi's outfit, and put that on top of original things. And maybe I want a piece of Kenobi's saber, or just the ends of the DL-44. Like, there are those types of things that I'm excited about with Cal. So I'm less concerned about Cal's appearance, because I mean, as he jokes about in Battle Scars, there's a time in Fallen Order where you're rocking pink and you look like a goofball. Which he does mention in Battle Scars. He's like, I had a pink poncho for a little while, like things like that. So
that was funny.
I'm really excited about this because of things in Battle Scars. I'm not going to spoil them, but what I like about that book is twofold. I think that it would have been through no fault of anybody, because part of Star Wars is, and like any fantasy is, you have a party of characters. And in Star Wars, the grandfather of all those is Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, the droids on a ship. Then we had the prequel crew, which didn't really have that because it was more Jedi, but we also have the Ghost crew. Legends had a ton of these. Both KOTORs have the Ebon Hawk crews. It goes on and on and on. I think that the Stinger Mantis crew, it would have been easy to just kind of make them, the other Jedi, like the other Ghost crew. And they did such a good job of making them harder edged, a little bit sexier, a little bit moodier, a little bit the difference between them is, it's sort of like, I thought of Captain America twice in this trailer. One, because of the High Republic guy, which we'll talk about, and, you know, being a man at a time. But it was that line in Age of Ultron where Tony and Steve are arguing, and Tony's like, isn't that why we fight? So we can go home? That's the Mantis crew. The Ghost crew is Captain America. They're like, we will go on, and family, and we figured it out. And that's what Star Wars Rebels is. Whereas, like, by the end of Battle Scars, they are openly like, we came back to the Mantis because where else are we going to go? We love each other, but really, what the F else? Can we curse here? I always forget.
It's me, Alden. Of course you can fucking swear.
I'm just saying. It's like, what the fuck else are we going to do? We're in pain. Even Grease is like, I got my arm lopped off, but like, I am the actual legal owner of this ship. So of course I came back. It's got a more tired tone to it. And even when the book starts, they're like, we're tired of the Haxian brood. It's time to just end those fuckers. Like they are more outlaw. They are more outlaw than any other group of heroes in this period. Like I kind of wish Luthen Rail had hooked up with the Mantis crew at some point. He could have aimed them, but so that was my big takeaway. Is like this trailer has a lot of that. I'm glad you said
that, because we were going to try to do a Battle Scars review. We're just kind of coming up on time to be able to do that, and that's okay. But like that was one of my first thoughts when they met the fucking bird dude whose name escapes me. Was like, God damn! Imagine if Luthen got his hands on this bunch.
Yeah, they are so.
Y'all feel disconnected on what you're trying to do. Meet Mr. My mind is a sunless place.
They need purpose. They don't have any, and that's why it's so interesting, because that book, they keep saying it's been a few years. It's a 5-year gap. You can assume that book is like 3 years, and then
like the middle point.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think the only there's a little point where I want to say it's Ferret. I want to say she says, I think in like chapter 17 or whatever, she's like, she was talking about some thing. I'll just say thing that happened in the past that Cal saw because of his abilities. And so she said explicitly that was 3 years ago. So it seems like this book set 3 years.
3 years after JFO, and
Yeah.
so you're moving
Which
in a little
makes
bit
sense.
more. Did Grease finally give it up? Is Marin with you, and we just haven't seen her in the Mantis footage, or is she off doing her own thing because she's a field AI companion now that will join you and fight and things? So it's just a really like I said, we don't have the answers, but it feels desperate and different, and it feels huge. Like the concepts feel big, the Coruscant stuff feels big, but it's also like most Star Wars stories, especially of the dark times, I feel like we're heading toward somehow we will be part of the end game and the toppling, whereas like the Mantis crew is like, we just want to not be doing this anymore. It feels decidedly more like emo, and I don't mean that in a jokey way. I mean that in a real emo way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is something really interesting about them because like I think, and again, this is kind of like a split Battle Scars and Jedi Survivor trailer talk at this point, but like I really felt like my interpretation of Cal's character got challenged really hard because one of the reasons why, and again, and he's
Oh,
still
dude,
in
there
my,
was one. There's
he's still
one
in my top
specific.
5.
There's
He's still in
this-
my top 5, like top 3, given how recently I've played the game. Where like there is a darkness to him that I never really perceived in him originally. You know, I always kind of saw him as this like Pollyanna, like almost like cross between Kanan and Ezra. You know, where he has that pain and that burden of like being, you know, one of the Padawans who got away, but also like the steadfastness that Ezra and Kanan both have, and that, you know, true trust in the Force that they both have as well. So it stunned me whenever you see her like watching Cal, and she's like, there's a darkness in him, and you see that in the trailer as well. That like
he's
Cal's
sort of like
kind of skirting that line of the dangers of attachment and everything.
He's into he's writing the vengeance line, like making them pay, and that's Marin's influence, right? Is that Marin's not a Jedi, and her power comes from darkness, even though she herself is good. The E-Core and all that stuff is a dark thing. So it's an interesting line to walk, and it's very Spider-Man in that way. I think that Sam Maggs's Cal is super Spider-Man with the quips and everything. Turns out Sam has written Spider-Man, so that makes sense. But it just has that energy of like, at any moment I could stray from the path, and I think that's why in this trailer for Survivor, it started to make sense. Like this, like more 5 o'clock shadowed Cal who's now carrying a blaster pistol. Like, yeah, the blaster pistol makes sense for game mechanics, which we still haven't seen any running and gunning.
Not really. We've only seen
whatsoever.
him use the grapple part a little bit.
They've been hiding that.
Yeah.
But it's an
no
interesting
blicky
thing.
Yet,
like,
no blicky yet.
is he carrying the space blicky because he's just like, some of you MFers just don't even deserve the blade. Like, I'm just gonna gun you down. He's just kind of over it.
But you're not even worth it.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta wonder where his head's at this point.
Yeah, he seems a lot more weathered.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely seems.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I gotta really reread it and re-listen to it because, like, I just need to. There's definitely a lot I feel like I missed.
I'm gonna pull the trailer up here.
I wanna talk to Sam about if we ever get the chance to.
Oh, I'd absolutely love to. I mean, and that's another thing. Like, you know, one of my favorite things about Star Wars, and the epicness that is a lightsaber, is that there are few fictional weapons that are meant to be such perfect encapsulations and representations of their owners and their wielders than the lightsaber. And one of the things I love about Cal in Fallen Order is that his lightsaber so deeply reflects him. I put a thing on Twitter a while ago about how, like, if I had my druthers and there was like a canon, like this is what Cal's lightsaber looks like at the end of the game, it is equal parts Jero Tapal, Ser Junda, and Eno Cordova. And it is his 3 mentors throughout the game who shape him with his own mechanical know-how that comes into play, where he's able to like split the sword in 2 and do the twin saber stuff. That you have somebody who is able to reflect the past, learn from it, move forward, and add his own flavor to it, which is so
Mhm.
quintessentially an element of the Jedi of this era, right? So what I really want to see is like, okay, Cal is a versatile person. He's somebody who's had to learn to roll with the punches and go with what's happening to him. So of course he's this guy who is able to fashion a saber staff, twin sabers. You know, in theory, he could just use it as a light pike with a really long hilt. And now we see him with the Kylo Ren Stellan Geos cross guard. So like,
Hell
I want
yeah.
to know. I really want to see like, character wise, how is he arriving at that?
Yeah.
You know, because we've like with the cross guard, in particular, we've seen it like motifically used in two ways. It is either the shattered psyche or just as chivalric round table-y knight as it gets. And I want to know like where between those two extremes of the cross guard lightsaber motif he falls.
Yeah, and that sort of masked figure has the crossguard in there. If the fan theory is true that you gain that piece by beating this dude, is that another like now Cal's learning from his enemies as much as he's learning from he's now you're adopting the other way instead of adopting seer things. Interesting to note, the canon version of the saber that we see here, the seer elements are gone 5 years later. It's just the Jaro emitter, and the bottom's been cleaned up and everything. There is no seer connective tissue, which makes me think there is a falling out between battle scars in this game of some kind. Maybe this other Jedi from the High Republic, whoever he is, will prove to be some sort of force that rattles both of them, because Seer's entire thing right now is trying to plant the seeds of a new order. This guy comes out. I mentioned the man at a time stuff. I love the idea that somebody is set up for the Captain America arc and shows up and is like, actually, you all screwed it up and it's time for punishment. Like that feels like, of course it would break him. And I think it stands in contrast to what we've seen with like Elzar Mann and Charles Soule's Star Wars number 20. Luke gets to talk to the sort of psychological imprint of Elzar on that planet that sort of keeps a record of everybody that's visited. And Elzar's spirit sort of talks to him and says, in a very optimistic way, the Jedi Order is what it always needs to be, and it comes in different forms. And for you right now, you're the sort of like the small flame. And it's this really beautiful passage where Elzar has great perspective on this. This guy might not have any of that perspective. And he might feel wronged personally, or like he lost his loved ones. And I think there's an interesting parallel there.
He did say he was betrayed. I want to say in the that one game,
because we don't know the state of him like being left in this back to tank for however long. And the thematic parallel there
it
of
could
Cal
be
having
a
lost the order
Citadel
now.
situation, like they say that in the Clone Wars. Like they have a whole jail that is just for Jedi who lost their fucking minds.
Yep.
I forgot about that, and that's funny you mentioned that, because the same guy wrote that and worked on Survivor.
I didn't even realize I was giving you your Miknovitz name drop, Connor. I didn't even realize I was setting that up for you.
How is Cal gonna like react to a guy like this too? Because
does he know about the era?
But know about the era, but also when this guy explains himself, Cal's gonna have that moment of like, oh, I know exactly how you feel. Like that happened. That you lost your era and we lost ours. It's just that I happen to still be in it. It's very
like I got to deal with the aftermath of it. So
yeah, Cal probably wishes he could go into stasis sometimes after what happened to him.
Yeah, wake up, hope. Yeah, but then that's the thing. Like, oh my god, even put it like Cal's perspective. Like, okay, put me in stasis during the reign of the Empire. Surely, when I wake up, it can't be much worse.
Yeah,
which I think is really interesting. Kaysen, any final thoughts on the Survivor trailer? I'm gonna throw to you because we've all been going for a hot minute here.
Not really, to be honest with you. I didn't get as much into Fallen Order as I really wanted to, and I think it was just because I was kind of out of love with video games at the time. But I am going to revisit it, and then I'm also definitely going to play Jedi Survivor because it looks insane.
I know. I cannot wait, dude. I cannot wait. I am so excited. And one of the other things I'm super excited for with like this level of customization, and this will be my last word on it. There is an aesthetic and a look or there is not an aesthetic and a look that, you know, scratches a part of my brain quite the way that Jedi Scoundrel does.
Hmm.
You know, like I love that shit. I love that shit. I know I complained in Fallen Order or about like, oh, I wish we had more outfits for Cal, and like I wish he wore Jedi robes, and I'll probably be wearing some Jedi robes here and there. But like, truth be told, whatever the hell Fabian Martell is wearing in season 2 of Ionized Bastards, it's gonna be whatever the fuck I wear in Jedi Survivor. Cal is absolutely going to be the
He's your stand-in for Fabian.
he is absolutely going to be the like aesthetic crash test dummy for whatever I do with Fabian Martell in season 2.
Hell yeah.
Incredible.
In short, Jedi Survivor.
It's gonna be a big nut bust.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite videos of all time. Moving right along, we have I hesitate to call it our penultimate episode of season 2 of the Bad Batch because we're getting a two for next week, you know, but
they're not technically a 2-parter. It's penultimate for what they're gonna release. It's the penultimate week.
Yeah. I mean, it's what they call tipping point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listen, this back half of season 2 of the Bad Batch has been fucking bonkers.
Wild ride. I love it.
It has truly been a wild ass ride and has been so thematically rich and, you know, coming off the heels of, you know, and I said this a lot last week, you know, I'll reiterate it, you know, because Alden and Kaysen weren't here. There is a part of me that really wishes Outpost and Pabu could have been a doubleheader.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You know, because it is so very much this encapsulation of the of many Star Wars themes. You know, you see this very strong, you know, nature versus like the evils of technology. You know, in seeing Crosshair out in the cold, dying for nothing to protect suits of armor. Juxtaposed with the Bad Batch, who, you know, yes, they have to survive a natural disaster, but they survive it and they're rebuilding in a literal paradise. Just seeing these two juxtaposed with each other, I absolutely loved. And going into this week's episode, seeing, you know, kind of what we were all expecting, that the Bad Batch would be called upon by Crosshair in one way or another, and that, you know, I like the tension, but you know, like they're gonna do the right thing. Does Crosshair deserve saving? Maybe not. Is he gonna get it? Absolutely, because that's the grace and mercy and redemption of Star Wars, and it just makes my heart happy. This episode was so good. I love the paranoia. I loved Royce Hemlock as a villain.
Fuck Royce Hemlock. All my homies hate Royce Hemlock.
He's great.
Yeah,
terrible.
He's terrible but great.
Yeah.
Excellent. The thing I really liked is one of my highlights was the beginning prisoner rescue sequence. That felt straight out of Clone Wars. Like season 4, season 3, season 4, season 5, really. Like the latter half of Clone Wars, it felt like just that type. And maybe that's what they were hoping, that's what they were going for, because like the Kiner's music in that sequence, I was just like, oh wow, I'm transported back to like 2008, 2009 with this music. And the fact that we get to see Echo and Rex, like when they showed up, I was like, yes. Yeah.
That whole sequence is really great. It's nice to see that well-oiled machine on Rex's end, because as I've talked about on and off air at different places, we know that whatever Rex's operation is ends with Rex, Wolf, and Gregor retired, broken, alone, just crazy in their tank going around the desert until the Rebels crew finds them. So it's not a happy story. So it's nice to see them functioning and having a good time and being heroes and you know, moving along smoothly as they can. I mean, this is a relentless arc. You know, this time it's been very methodical, very well placed. 2 Crosshair episodes, and now it's starting to come together. Like, it's been the huge long con of bringing the storylines together. And I like that Crosshair, whether people, a lot of people sort of wrote the show off in season 1 and didn't come back to it. I feel like I want to shake those people and be like, what you've been asking for is happening. It might not be happening with a Force user, but it's happening with Crosshair. He is the guy that made a choice and had to live with it and is still living with it and is going through it. And his redemption is happening now in real time while he's alive, while dealing with the fact that these are the people that he helped. Like you talked about Pabu in the Outpost, I'm still in love with the fact that Pabu comes after, is so rich and full of life as a location, as an episode. It comes after seeing Crosshair frostbitten, glazed over in the eyes, exhausted, looking at the corpse of Mayday, and then saying, I'm going to shoot this Nazi. I'm going to kill him. And whatever happens to me, I don't know, but I have to kill this guy. And then we juxtapose that with what the remaining batch full-timers...
what's his name? Oh, shit.
Dr. King Schultz.
I love you so much.
It is a similar moment.
I almost said Herman Schultz, and I'm like, that is the Shocker.
Yeah.
That is a Spider-Man villain.
You went to this when he does the whole, like, you really want me to shake your hand, and he just kills the guy because he just can't.
It's like, you know what? Fuck him.
Yep.
This bitch.
Is exactly what Crosshair said before he passed out. And he said it again when he was strapped to the table and he managed to get a hold of that rifle. I loved the and I'm sort of going all over the place, but I think that the Crosshair action stuff before we got into checking in on Pabu again in this one, now the storylines are together, it's such good visual storytelling because they've established what this guy can do across Clone Wars and then all of Bad Batch up to this point. To see him get tortured, still be this good. He misses a couple times though, so you get the idea like he's really gone through hell right now, all just so he can send a message out. And then the show pivots and we have Omega learning how to fly, and it's so adorable and fun and everything. And it shows like it can be both. And Star Wars is always both. Star Wars is always both. And to do them together now, heading into this finale, it's just it's so rich. Like Bad Batch season 2, very low key and without much fanfare, and now having to get its spotlight kind of stolen by live action for these last few weeks, has been quietly doing one of the best seasons of any of the shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I say that as a Bad Batch skeptic. I say that as somebody who went into season 2 of the Bad Batch going, I'm ready to be wowed. I didn't love season 1. And I'm coming away and I'm already like, this might be some of my favorite Star Wars animation, man. Mm-hmm. Like, God damn, it is so much killer left and right here. And absolutely
really solid.
And it makes me really happy, like the direction they're taking with Crosshair here, because that was hard to say. I cannot believe I didn't fumble that. Was seeing Crosshair, like you said, like he's drugged out of his mind. He's still a one-man army. That like Crosshair's cognizant of the fact he's gonna fucking die. He's not. His goal is not escape Mount Tantus. It is get a hold of the Bad Batch.
Yeah,
it is warn them. They're coming for you. They're coming for Omega.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. That really affected me.
Plan 88, the Seeker, which is, they laid a trap, which, if you're playing along at home and you know that the finale is called Plan 99, it's like, if 88 is there's a trap, what is 99? Is that like we go into hiding, but that wouldn't be really climactic because they're already kind of in hiding. Like, what is the raising of that? And I honestly think that Plan 99 is man down or something like that. Like,
yeah, because I always thought, because now that you mention it, Alden, I remember seeing the title Plan 99. I thought that was going to be some sort of like clone-in operation that they were going to do with.
Same.
Like,
I did too.
Deal with TAC Force 99 on Mount Tantus. But like now with Plan 88 being put into play, it's like, coded. this probably changes the context of that title. Probably. We don't know until the episode.
Same for next week's. We all heard the summit and went, oh, the summit of a mountain, Mount Tantus.
Yeah.
And then in this episode, what does Tarkin say? I will see you at the summit, Dr. Hemlock. Like, like there's a fucking conference.
There's an actual.
Oh my God.
It's an academic conference.
Yeah. We're all going to be chilling, talking. Maybe this is where we'll get you got Krennic there talking about blowing shit up. Like, it'll be a great time. You got Partagaz there. Yeah, it's like
refreshments in
the nightmare blunt rotation of the Dark Side.
Tarkin, Krennic, Partagaz, Hemlock. God, it's the worst. It also just cracks me up. I was talking about this with Ken last week. Like the fact that Tony Gilroy is like, oh, I got to make a Star Wars doctor. Here's Dr. Gorst. He tortures people with the screams of the dying children of a genocided world. And then Jennifer Corbett, it's like, and Matt Miknovitz, it's like, we created a doctor too. His name's Hemlock, and he tortures clones, and he wants all your defected clones being sent to him. And he was kicked out of the Republic because his experiments were too dark. And then it's like, Jon Favreau, I made a doctor too. He a fish. He's a fish, and he says, "This isn't the Empire, son."
I was listening because I did my best.
What episode was that from?
That was last week's Mando.
Last week's Mando has that.
Yeah, that's the guy who lobotomized you.
This isn't the Empire, son. Don't worry, I'm done with treatment.
Oh, that's why I can't remember.
I've said this before. I try my best to not listen to episodes of Force Center before I do my review.
Oh God.
So I got around to listening to their episode of The Convert only a couple days ago, and I spat my Sprite out at the fact that Ken was exclusively referring to him as Dr. Mr. Fishmouth, or however the fuck he said it, exclusively. Never just said, oh yeah, that Mon Cala. No, Dr. Mr. Fishmouth the whole fucking time.
It's hysterical. It's great. Yeah, but Hemlock sucks. It's a long way of saying Hemlock sucks, and it creeps me out. And I don't know what they're doing here. I mean, we're analyzing things, right? We're not here to predict or do a bingo card and everything, but it's like this show has done such a good job of saying, here's the obvious thing, and we're not going to do that. So I don't want to use the word subvert because then the internet will cry. But kind of like subvert your expectations a little bit. Like I was joking at Nikki, like, what if in this finale they tee it up so hard that Crosshair is going to die, which would make perfect sense. And then Hunter jumps in front of a bullet for him. And then season 3, Crosshair is dead.
Jesus Lord, absolutely not. You can't do that.
Wow.
Like something like that. Like let the Kiners going crazy with the music and everything. And, Crosshair's boom, boom, just taking guys out. He's bleeding or whatever. And then Hunter jumps in front, dies. And then Crosshair becomes Omega's like main dad.
That's where you're wrong, kid.
And like that's how he lives. That's how he fully atones, is by finishing that relationship. There's also just fun like nerd things we were talking about too, like the fact that Omega is a ranged combatant, like, well, they all are, but like has the particular thing of being an archer. If Crosshair gets his hand on the energy bow, people are gonna get mowed down by arrows. Legolas style.
I am waiting for them.
Just pulls an almond head and just
off the top of my head, the Bad Batch has not had we're a cartoon, so we have to cut away from what the fuck just happened to kill yet.
Nope. Yeah.
Aside from just like only hearing Depa Balaba's death rattle.
Yeah.
But that was more for ambience and like.
But they've made that was an artistic choice. But they've made up for that with all of the electrocyanide that they've done.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, if Crosshair gets to use like that like arc bow thing, we're gonna get a whole lot of like, Maul cut that guy's head off with a door panel.
Yeah.
Type like it's just bodies
absurd
back,
violence, people being skewered through the neck, and like I really want. Remember in Hawkeye when Clint tells Kate aim high, and she just shoots an arrow up, and he shoots a Pym arrow at it.
Oh
I want Crosshair to be like Omega aim high, and she starts firing arrows up, and he starts throwing reflective discs at the arrows because he will hit all of them. So the arrows start flying in different directions from like I want them to be this insane, just you can't get near them level duo.
I want
That's probably not gonna
everybody.
happen.
I want everybody at home who hasn't seen Ionized Bastards yet to know that the things that this man is saying is also coming from the guy whose character in Ionized Bastards is a Ithorian who, in the middle of combat, this is like a plot spoiler. Who, in the middle of one of our combat engagements, went with my gigantic trunk-sized Ithorian foot. I curb stomped this guy. And just kind of donkey kicked some poor
aggressively ran and yeeted myself at somebody and tackled. See, this is what I'm telling you. Look what I've done with a character with no abilities. If I ever play a character with abilities, then you'll see. Then you'll see. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen across here, guys, but I don't think it's gonna be good. That's my. I also think it's time to shave some members off. I think Echo's a goner. He's been a goner. I thought he was a goner when he said goodbye to Omega, because that's a cardinal sin. You don't say goodbye to a kid and say you'll see them again.
Right.
But then he did. So
that is right up there with it's time for me to retire. Or
yeah, if you're a cop in a story.
I just started. I'm about to retire. No, you're fucking dead.
Yeah, exactly. But he made it back. I also think that Wrecker has his fate's been sealed since season 1, because Wrecker had his arc very early of overcoming the programming and becoming Omega's big brother and being the playful one and everything. And I think he can die. I think Tech, for a while, I was like, Tech can't die yet because he hasn't had a human moment. Then he had a couple Tech focused episodes, and I was like, now you're fair game too.
On the chopping block.
Anything
Everybody,
else
no
fair
one's safe.
game.
Kason, your thoughts? As again, we've all been prattling on, and you've been very polite. While Alden and I are very happy to interrupt each other.
That's true.
I mean, I like listening to you guys talk because obviously you guys are way deeper into the game than I am so far. So like, I like hearing what you guys have to say because you know way more than me. Anyway,
you're our podcast foundling. It's okay. You're
exactly, yeah. Which again, that's like I'm cool with that. I'm the intern. I'm the new guy. Like I'll chill here.
You got the paintball wrist starts. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bad Batch stuff is insane. What I was gonna say, I was thinking like as far as like Plan 99 goes, I thought maybe Plan 99 would be like No Man Left Behind. So they're like, okay, yeah, we go in and we rescue Crosshair. And then the reason why I'm so sorry, Alden, in the middle of what you were saying, I said that's where you're wrong, kid, because I was gonna make a joke and say this is where Fireball dies because obviously he doesn't make it to retirement.
No. Yep. No, he does not.
He jumps in front of the bullet instead of Hunter. He's like, "Oh no!"
It's
anyway,
like
my cat's clawing at my door.
It's like the heroic sacrifice version of the SNO. What you say? Like it's just
people keep jumping in front of each other.
It's just cascading clones. Just
honestly, like yeah, and like. But thinking about
inexplicably, Five shows up too.
Yeah, clones that haven't been a factor at all. Jesse's there. Everybody aim for that stupid face tattoo. Yeah.
That is the number one clone that I am excited for Taylor to meet.
The face tattoo? Yeah.
Oh my god. So I don't know if I've brought this up on air or not. I've talked about it like off air to you guys. Mm-hmm. So we're making our way through Clone Wars, Taylor and I. Obviously this is her first time. Obviously I've seen it. And like she has a new term. And it's clone hair. And it is for every clone trooper who has a ridiculous whack ass haircut. You know, you have like the one clone who has mutton chop cornrows.
Yes.
You know, shit like
Who
that.
Who is this man? I forget his name, but he's the first one I thought of. When you said whack ass hair, I was like the guy with the two.
That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, mutton chop cornrows. Two hairstyles that should not be juxtaposed with each other.
Why do I think it's Gree?
It's not.
Gree has
does
hair
have
buzzed
some
down
type
the
of...
middle, but they're not. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is not just two strips of hair.
Let me look.
Yeah, just type in whack ass clone hair.
No, I'm not. God.
I just
but
love
I
that, like,
am-
clones, like, their whole thing is like, yeah, we're trying to be individuals. It's like, yeah, but y'all should still tell your brothers when they're doing a dumb thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes just the classic Django fade is okay.
Yeah.
Jared, I'm gonna send this to you. The Commander Grease.
Or be like Rex
Okay.
and do the Slim Shady for your entire
Yeah,
adult
yeah,
life.
the real Rex Shady. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for her to see Jesse with his helmet off. I am
So
so
good.
excited for her to see the fucking asymmetrical Galactic Republic head tattoo. So funny. So
That would be like
that
if you
is
got the
sincerely
TNAP
funny.
logo just across your eye. Like, it just it's really funny.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Just
I'm trying to think if there's anything else about Batch that is I referenced Omega Flying already. I love that she calls tech drifting the tick turn.
Tic
It's
Tac.
Yes,
so
I was gonna say that. I
cute.
Connor
forgot.
is right.
Yes.
Gree is the one with
It's
the mutton
Gree.
chop corn nose.
Gree.
No
Okay,
wonder-
a list
no wonder he got
of Grease
beheaded.
crimes. That hairstyle, trying to kill Yoda. That hairstyle is worse.
In that order.
There is a short list of clones who had a more unlucky position than being one of two motherfuckers next to Yoda.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
and
true.
and him canonically having the worst clone haircut makes his death even funnier, because you truly can take that scene and just slap a "I like you cut" G over that,
Oh,
while Yoda
no.
just his fucking head off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Like you
brutal.
cut you. Wow.
Your cut, I like G.
Oh no, God.
Execute Order 66 on your barber for giving you that haircut. You should.
Oh man.
Oh,
Anyway.
dude.
We
Yeah,
just
I
fuck
don't-
your fetus.
Yeah, I will say, Gree
Beard
and the
Connect
dude next
does
to
not.
Gree, like, they deserve posthumous commendation for their brass balls, because trying to sneak up on this guy after you've served with him and seeing what he can do, like,
Yeah.
and being like, hey, he's right there. Let's just creep up on him. Like,
Yeah.
what did you think was gonna
Not
happen?
only do you have to take on Yoda with just one other guy, there's also two fucking Wookiees right there.
Fools.
Right.
Fools. I'll tell you. Okay, now here's a really dark. Here's a dark segment that we can play real quick, Jared, if you don't mind.
Oh, I'd love to, Alden.
Where? so you're a clone on Order 66. Forget
Yes.
all that. Forget moralizing. Don't give me any bullshit. You can't resist. You're going along with it no matter what. What post do you want to be serving at? Like, who had the easiest day? I feel like the Megiddo battalion
No.
had a nice easy time, because that man ran out into the open while you all
Yeah.
stood there like, hey,
Okay.
yeah, we had a clear shot.
Okay, that with hindsight, like they get lucky that Coyote Mundi, he
Was
goes,
like, come on.
he literally goes, "Come on,
Yeah.
charge!" And he's like, he doesn't even have his lightsaber in a guard position. He's just like running like he's in a fucking war movie.
They had
and
an easy
and
time.
that's at the moment that everyone's just like, "Oh, word, okay," and immediately starts letting them fly.
Hey, what's good with it, Key? Fuck going on?
Hey yo, Terry, fuck going on? Hey, how's it going?
Sensational. That's his word.
That does need to be. I need to send you that video, Jared. I'll make sure to clip that. The hey yo, Terry, fuck going on?
Hey,
Hey, how's
Terry
it
is
going?
so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
an Instagram page.
they had it easy. I'll tell you, I do not want to be. I don't want to be the guys chasing down Plo.
No.
Wait, no,
'Cause
I know who the easiest
they
would
were
be.
successful, but like that could go sideways real quick.
I know who the easiest would be. That one. There's probably a name for. I just had a stroke. There's probably a name for that Jedi Master on I think it's on Salakamai, where it's the two guys side by side on the.
Oh yeah, the ones
It
that
is?
just stop their thrusters
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
start-
just-
yeah, it's not Sully. Yeah.
Yeah,
They do the Ricky Bobby slingshot on their speeder bikes, and
And Jared, I will always remember
easiest
that's Stas Ali because Joseph Scrimshaw won the Celebration Chicago 5-way on that.
Yeah,
question.
I was gonna say,
I was in the room sitting front row when Joseph won that on that question, and I sat there like, is it Stas or is it Adigalia? Is it Stas or is it Adigalia? I can't remember. And then
And then I remember, because Adigalia got fucking
the funniest kill in all of Clone Wars.
Yeah, honestly, truthfully,
the funniest kill. Oh my god,
I feel so bad for her. She doesn't deserve that.
I
Listen,
also
if Savage hadn't finished her off, she would have had some type of disease. There is no way you get stabbed with vestigial horns in the gut, and you don't get like some type of horrific space tetanus hepatitis.
Some sort of fungi. Yeah,
fungi.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be her in any situation. The Felucia guys, they were just kind of taking a light stroll. They weren't even in the middle of a battle when they gunned her
that's
down.
the thing. Most of the Jedi, aside from
sunned Aayla Secura.
Aside from they atomized her for no reason.
And then they kept firing when she was on the ground.
That's the thing that gets me every time. It's the fact that they just like
those guys were salty even before.
Like, God damn. What did she ever do to you?
Aside from Ki-Adi-Mundi, who is in like active combat, everybody else is seemingly just on a patrol.
Pretty much.
Which is just so unfair. Like if they
Zed
were in active combat,
Jukasa gets more kills as he goes down than most of these masters, except for one master who we'll be talking about in a little bit, who bodied quite a few people on his way out of work that day.
Bro said it's 5:02. I'm out of here.
Come on, Grogu, let's go. We're union.
To all of them.
What?
I did not expect Wendy Williams. That's fine.
Oh my goodness. All right. I think that's all we have for Bad Batch. Very excited for the season finale. I cannot wait. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I've loved this season. And it is just as we've played several times. I'm not going to play it for the 1,000th time before we even start talking about The Mandalorian. Sensational. Yeah, so the Manda-fucking-Lorian this week.
Yeah,
that's it. That case and just
Yeah.
That's yeah.
We need to get a Keanu Reeves John Wick. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Write that down. I need Leo and Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like there's obviously like a plot stuff to talk about, which is very, very, very fun. Kelleran Beck definitely stole the episode. Obviously, the rest of the episode is still great, but it's just like I want to set the stage a little bit. I said this in Goons. I say Goons as if people are like, "Can I listen to Goons?" No, you can't. It's a group chat. A
career-ending one, so very much no.
Mutual destruction. I have had since we found out in Chapter 13, the Jedi, that Grogu came from the Coruscant Temple. And that he was indeed a youngling, an initiate, I guess a youngling. I have had there have been reasonable ideas as to what happened, and then there have been fantasy ones. Like my dream fantasy idea was always that Gunji and the other ones of his Padawan group of that clan got together and saved him. But I didn't think they'd ever portray that in live action because it's like a kid Wookiee is not something that I think they want to like figure out how to costume and build and all that. And so I kind of put that out of mind. A lot of people thought maybe Mace Windu, that like in his dying act would do it. I thought that was possible. A one-armed Mace sort of fighting his way in, trying to get as many kids out. Like that could have been really emotional and cool. And Sam Jackson would have done it. In these conversations though, with our friend Noah on Twitter, with my friend and collaborator Nikki, with a lot of people, Ken and Joseph on Force Center have talked about this. Occasionally, since 2020, when Jedi Temple Challenge started, we would say, Kelleran Beck. Wouldn't that be cool? I either wanted Kelleran Beck in the High Republic or I wanted him in this era. And, looking back at text receipts today with Nikki and finding when we would talk about it, Noah's tweet went like re-viral in Star Wars Twitter today, from 3 years ago, where he said, "I would love for Kelleran to be the one." Never did I think for a second that these madmen would have the gall. And Jared, you can attest. We talked, and I didn't know if I was going to come on KNR because I'm on so many things this week. And you were like, "Well, there's a spot open for you if Dave does Dave shit." And we assumed either Sabine shows up, Ahsoka shows up, whatever.
Yeah. We assumed this would be the week that we get some
Within
Jedi Temple bullshit.
within reason, yeah.
Something that was the
like
verbiage that was used both privately and in the group chat.
Something crazy.
If Dave does Dave shit.
Something crazy, but logically, like, right there. No one. I don't think anyone. Like, we all hit play at like 3. I hit play at like 3:02, so Jared was a little bit ahead of me. Jared in our group chat says, "Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god!
Oh my fucking god!" And then texts me privately, "Let me know when you're watching." Right as I get to Grogu's watching the Forge, and then I was like, "My phone going off," and then I was like, "Did I?" I never pause. I'm really precious about my viewing experience. Lights off, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. No subtitles, no pausing. When that one Jedi goes, "Get him to Kelleran," I was like, hold up. Yes! I paused it, which I never do. Put subtitles on, backed it up 10 seconds or 15 seconds, however many it is on Disney Plus. Let it run again and said, "All right, surely that's where it ends. That's an Easter egg. That's a deep cut. That's fun."
So
this elevator is going to get blown up or something. He's not going to go that way.
So I want to chime in here, and anybody else can chime in with their like real time realizing what was fucking
slowed
happening.
Down. Yeah,
dude. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say. So like I hear "Get him to Kelleran," and I go, I didn't hear that right, and I'm like, they probably said some planet, some whatever. Yeah. And then there 3 fucking Jedi all say, "Get him to Kelleran. Get to Kelleran, get the youngling to Kelleran."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
No fucking way. And I'm like, surely that no. And like you just said, I like he's in the turbo lift. Yeah. He's like going towards the turbo lift. I'm like, it's gonna blow up, it's gonna get sabotaged, something's gonna happen.
You're gonna get stuck, or
he'll
end up getting diverted and we'll be like on a theme park ride or something. Like,
and like we're gonna Jesus Christ. I don't like to be cynical about Disney, but like a Galaxy's Edge, like Grogu's Jedi Temple escape, where it's
I said it before. It's a good idea.
I was about to make one of the darkest jokes I've ever made. So dark, I'm not gonna make it on air, but I will text it to you guys. I don't want T-Nap to get in trouble for the joke I was about to make.
I think I know where you're going with that. Like just it's like the Haunted Mansion, but you're just watching like fucking an entire religion get genocided out of existence in real time. But yeah, I'm like, something's gonna happen with this turbo lift. Like, this is not that's not gonna happen. Or maybe there's a coincidence where like they're gonna introduce a Jedi who also happens to have that Master Kelleran, and it's a last name or whatever. Connor, what were you gonna say before Alden and I continue our like?
No, when like, they said
Pulp Fiction, like
I was in I was watching it with subtitles, and they said get him to Kelleran, and I'm like, Kelleran back?
Yeah.
There's no fucking way. Like that would be really cool. There's no way. And then like the elevator happens, and then it just like
and just like the little tweaks.
The fuck?
The little tweaks that they made. Like I know, like Ahmed in Jedi Temple Challenge, he's using a Galaxy's Edge saber because obviously they have them. He's got more of a standard outfit, and I believe that Ahmed's headcanon was that he had a purple blade, but we never see it in that show. Here, it's kind of like, is Kelleran using his own green? Because he picks up the blue from the dead Jedi. Is that green his? Like, it's ambiguous as to what Kelleran actually owns. But seeing, in any case, like when the action figure comes out, green and blue, like seeing Ahmed Best dual wielding the gold rune embroidery, the fact that it's a cape, not a cloak, Jared. If you want to, I know you were very happy about explicitly cape.
Yes,
on a
I thought you
Jedi
were about to
today.
correct me. I was like, I
No, no, no,
said
no, no.
that I was happy. it
I'm
was
backing
okay.
you up. This is no ambiguity. It's not like Anakin and Clones where we have to like roll the tape back to figure out what he's wearing.
Oh yeah. Oh, Kaysen, this is a fun little nugget. Alden, Connor, and I have a fun little game where if you pay attention to Attack of the Clones, Anakin's Jedi robe changes constantly between being like a normal robe and like a draped over cloak with like no
What?
sleeves.
Where
Yeah,
it's like a
Dude.
have fun.
Dude. And it's not like
fucking
like
way.
once or twice or anything. Like there's even a costume test shot of the no sleeves one
Yeah.
where it like comes over this. It's like it fucked with me because I've seen that movie more than I've seen any of them.
How does that make it past editing?
I don't even think it's I don't think it's a problem. I think it's just that he packed other clothes for his Naboo mission.
Oh,
It's just funny that it like changes from time to time. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's no
Yeah.
worse than like Ewan McGregor's hair or beard in Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones, respectively.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we continue the Keller and Beck stuff, Kaysen, before 3 a.m. today, did you know who the fuck Keller and Beck was?
I did not, to be honest with you. And then actually,
reasonable
you know what happened?
answer. He was on a game show for children.
Yeah. So this morning. Okay. So actually, so we'll start with last night because last night I was like, we're just gonna watch some Star Wars stuff and see what happens. And so I started with the OT for some reason. I was just like, yeah, we're just gonna dive right into A New Hope and just see what happens. And I watched A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, and then I was like, it's 4 a.m. I work at noon. I should probably stop this. But anyway, so I got up this morning and I was hanging out with my roommate before I went to work, and I had some extra time, so I was like, oh, maybe we should watch Mando. And then I got on the internet and I immediately saw an article that was like, headline: Ahmed Best returns as a character he's played previously, but not the one you think. And I was like, what?
You're like, first of all,
He's playing.
Yeah, I was like, first
he's
of all,
playing the guy
who
in
then?
the bar. He's playing the guy from the Outlander, and
who is also vaguely, possibly a relative of
yeah,
Kelleran.
because they're both
Right.
left the last name Beck.
They both
yeah.
have back, yeah.
But yeah, I was like, okay, so yeah, we're definitely gonna watch that right quick before I go to work. So then, like, one time I watched it, and I was like, oh, that's cool as hell. I didn't even know that he did that. And then I looked at the whole thing. Haven't gotten to watch what is it? Challenge of the Jedi Temple?
Jedi Temple
Jedi Temple
Challenge.
yeah.
Or Jedi Temple Challenge. Okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten to watch that yet, but I'm definitely gonna go back and catch some of that because I would like to see more work by Ahmed Best.
It's I loved that show. It was supposed to be on Disney Plus, then they released it for free on YouTube because of the pandemic, and it actually dropped right after George Floyd was killed, and so there was a big element of like Disney trying to give something to the families that were, you got to have hard conversations with your kids, and here's a show, or technically the first Star Wars project with a black lead, singular. Obviously there are lead characters that are black,
Yeah,
but led by him and a couple droids. It's very on the nose, very funny, and that character was always era ambiguous because obviously it's a game show. It's not telling canon stories, but it would have
Right.
little animated portions of like myths and legends, and he would always joke about his skill, and they call him the Sabered Hand. That's his nickname. He's like a mythic level swordsman, but in the game show, it's always funny because he would just be standing there with his droids, and he'd be like, they call me the Sabered Hand. And his droid would be like, yeah, we know. You say that all the time. And so it would always just be like, is he actually that good or is he full of shit?
Yeah, and so like I
which
saw
brings
that in
us
that
to our
article.
next clip.
Yeah, I
That
saw that in
Keller
that
and Beck.
article, and then I
Dog.
Killer Beck does indeed have that dog in him. Jared, that moment when he picks up the blue one and he does that turn to camera, I texted Jared. I said the exact moment he entered the TNAP Versus series when he turns and looked at the camera.
Yes.
It was just like I joked, and I want everybody watching. I'm not 100% serious when I say this, but Anakin's lucky he didn't catch Kelleran in the hallway. He's lucky. He was busy over there shanking a little girl so she could be the villain later on in the show. And meanwhile, Kelleran was on the patio doing work. I'm not saying Kelleran could have beaten Anakin, but he probably would have put up the best fight of people there that day.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, Revenge of the Sith is a very different movie if Kelleran Beck and Sindralig were in the same room at the same time.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And if Sin
Oh, yeah.
Sin did the performance that he did in the game and not in the footage.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so like Alden was saying, I just want to walk people through this moment because this was such an exciting moment, both within the story, within canon, and in a meta way. And I just really want to live in this beat. And talk through it a little bit because like Alden said, I was like, oh my god, tell me what you're watching. Because Alden like very recently made a joke about, oh man, what if Kelleran and Beck saved Grogu?
We talked about this the other day, yeah.
Like the other fucking day.
And you texted me and you were like, did you know? Because every
you're
now
the
and then
Padawan of Mr.
Yeah.
Oh, what if there's a baby Yoda? You know, and
Yeah.
just threw
Every now
that
and
out
then I
there
do
on
hear
Jedi
things.
Council.
Every now and then I hear things, but I told Jared, I was like, I had no idea. And I don't think anyone did. And you know what? Look, this is a real world filmmaking point. A lot of people criticize the use of the volume. We don't need to get into that. But I will say, secrets of this level are only kept because of the fucking volume.
100%.
Keeping this in-house in Manhattan Beach, closed studios, closed sets, like Ewan McGregor costume tested as Obi-Wan Kenobi on set of Mando season 2. Like, because of it's just easy to, we have a building that we control. Like, that's how you do stuff like this. And yeah, I didn't know. No one knew. I didn't hear a rumbling about this. Talk to people I know afterward that normally do know things. They didn't know. No one knew. Ahmed Best goes on Instagram today, posts a picture of himself looking yoked, looking jacked, looking good. Left Twitter before his big return because he's smart. Like, just
smarter than us at least.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just a fantastic moment. And and I'm going to tweet about this a little bit more tomorrow and talk about it when I discuss the episode on Octa Radio. Jar Jar Binks, it should be noted, of course, he does leave in a Nubian craft, which is great, and a nice nod to where we all first met Ahmed in this world on Naboo. But it's like Jar Jar Binks was a character created exclusively to make children happy and make them giggle, make them laugh. And this guy got hung out to dry so hard that he thought about ending his actual life. Like, that's real shit. Like, he was abused by the industry, by fans, by audiences, by critics. It went so far beyond regular dislike. It went to just downright unprofessionalism and hate. And his journey back has been a long one. It's been well documented. There are videos about it. You should absolutely look into it more if you don't know about that stuff. He, 2019, gets that thunderous hero's welcome at Star Wars Celebration. He's back in the family, does Jedi Temple Challenge the next year, and that's all great. But he hadn't had the in-world, like, new project that is, like, outside of Jedi Temple Challenge, which is a game show. He hadn't had the thing that was, like, you're really back in, and now people can discover you again. Like, there are kids that will now see Kelleran Beck before they see Jar Jar Binks, which is very weird, but cool. And it's like, for him to go from, I did a character that was to make kids happy, to I did another character that was to make kids happy again in a game show setting, to now I'm going to do a character that is that second one, legitimized with a reference to the first one, cross-generational, with the kids that I made smile the first time celebrating my return as I protect, in the text of the story, the child that everyone has rallied around over the past few years in Grogu. You can't write a better story than that. Like, the only thing that feels missing from any of this is that I wish that Jake Lloyd could have something similar. That's a different conversation. That's the last thing we need to fix, really, as a culture. But like, this is a perfect, I don't want to say ending, because I would like Kelleran stories, of course, but like, this is like, I could see George watching this and being like, yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want to jump onto that beat real quick because I understand what people mean. I understand what people mean when they're talking about like, oh, it's like the redemption of Ahmed Best. I know what you mean. Stop using that fucking word because he did nothing wrong. Redemption
100%.
implies
Yes.
that he deserved in a single
Uh-huh.
iota of
Yep.
the horse shit that man dealt with because of
It's
Jar
true.
Jar Binks.
It's not the redemption of Ahmed Best. It's the redemption of audiences that get to engage with his work. It's the redemption of people
Yes.
watching him. He never changed. And Ahmed Best was already successful pre Jar Jar. He was already in the performing arts, doing musical theater, doing other things. Like, he's always been a light. He didn't need to be redeemed. I think that the better phrasing is like the homecoming of Ahmed Best,
Yes.
or the embracing of Ahmed Best, whatever it is. But no, we need to be redeemed. You go back now and you watch Phantom Menace. There's nothing wrong with the Jar Jar character. Like, that was just peak 90s. Gen X wanted to. I mean, Adam Witt has said this before. Schmodown's Adam Witt, and he's told Ken, and Ken has repeated it a few times. The original trilogy kids turned on this shit the first chance they got. They tried to kill Star Wars the second that they could. It's a general statement, of course. Not everyone did that. But like, the second that they had something silly to shit on, they did. And it set a precedent, and people have kept doing it. And Jar Jar got hung out to dry for what? Stepping in poop? Okay. Who gives a shit? Like, it's classic vaudevillian, like, slapsticky comedy. It's not always going to land for you, but it's not for you. So for him to show up now and his opening line to be like, everything's going to be all right, kid, is that's it. Like, that's it. He's talking now there are Phantom Menace babies and kids that have kids, and it's like the loop is closed. Like, storybook, like, over. I hope that he shows up now to Celebration London for the Mando panel or whatever, and gets to be a part of this. And I just hope that we don't have to now see him die in another flashback.
Oh my god. Well, put a pin in that for the present day storyline. But no, I agree everything you just said 100%. And like, for me, and I don't want to, the last thing I ever want to do is give J.K. Rowling any flowers at this point for obvious reasons. But it's the easiest example I can think of. There are few things that I love seeing than like the hero, the guardian, the protector defending children. Like, my mind goes to like the way Dumbledore stands over Harry in Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, hell yeah.
Where it's just that, like, nah, kid, you sit down. I got this motherfucker. Where it's like, you don't fuck with this fucking kid, man. Same with Snape in Azkaban. That man is disarmed, throws himself in front of these kids. These kids don't like this guy. He didn't like these kids.
No, no love. No love.
Threw himself in front of them, unarmed, in front of a werewolf. I love stuff like that. I love that, like that, like the hero is here to protect the children type thing. Like, that beat is just so beautiful. And I don't know, maybe there's just a Pollyanna part of me that just loves seeing that kind of heroism, manifest in that pure, like, the defenseless need defended, and I'm going to lay down my life in the name of it. That was just so affecting. That you see Kelleran, like you said, that line of dialogue with the whole, like, it's gonna be all right, kid, and then you see, like, this Jedi master, the sabered hand, pardon my hiccups, live up to the name. Where he starts piecing up these clones.
And it's like emotional, because what do adults often do in that situation? They keep it together even when they don't know that it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
That's part of caregiving. He fucking does not know. In fact, he's probably just watched a ton of his friends, his brothers and sisters, his loved ones all get butchered. He says to the Naboo captain, there is no one else. Like, everybody at this moment, we know now the Order 66 supercuts can get even more brutal. Everybody out there that already has one is editing theirs together, I'm sure. It's like, and that's the theme of the episode, is like, Paz's son, Ragnar Vizsla, he ends up getting kidnapped by this dragon. He's gonna get fed to the dragon's babies, and it's like, everything is about looking out for the next generation in this episode. It's circle of life stuff. It's guardianship. It's the dragon and the dragon's babies, and it's like, okay, well, the dragon needed to be defeated, but we're still going to look after its kids because the kids didn't do anything wrong, and like
Right.
we can still look after them, and the armorer and Grogu giving him his first piece of armor with that roundel and everything, and Bo saying to Grogu, like, you know, my dad was the same way. He's just proud of you. Like little cute moments like that, reminding people that that's what this story is. That Din Djarin exists now because people protected him when he was a child and needed defending. And that just keeps going and going and going. I mean, that's the thing in Kenobi. Kenobi's like, come on, Spider-Man moment beneath the rocks before he explodes out is thinking about the twins. And like, that's what propels him forward. And even, you know, we talked about Batch. What gets Crosshair to like really go for it is being like, they're going to go after this kid.
Up. I'm actually starting to get choked up talking about it.
It's so beautiful. It's perfect.
It is so
I mean,
powerful.
it's like, it's so fundamental to what this stuff is. You know, when Obi-Wan, before he dies, we all point out now, like the last thing he sees is the twins back together. That's been Star Wars from the get. It's always been Star Wars. And kids is relative, right? Like to Yoda, everyone's a kid. So like Yoda showing up in Attack of the Clones and like, okay, you know, Kane down, lightsaber out. Like he's defending Obi and Anakin. Those are two of his kids. He's got to fight his other kid to do it, but still.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to, you know?
Right.
God damn. Oh, okay.
Star Wars is good.
Yeah, no,
Star
it's
Wars
fantastic.
Star Wars is great.
Kason, I want to congratulate you on doing your first, because I do it all the time. Just that cathartic. I fucking love Star Wars.
Yeah.
But no, and you know, jumping to the I just want to say one last thing. My favorite part of the Keller and Beck stuff. I tried to send it into a couple chats I'm in, and it wasn't sending, and it pissed me off. There's this it's like really kick-ass like windmill thing he does.
Yeah,
like there's like they go to like a super wide shot, you know, and like because like most of it is like the close-ups. It's like a lot of like right angles where he's just kind of like dropping the sabers, but there's this wide shot where he's just like like he's just like doing this like full body spin. It's very this might be a deep cut for some of you youngins. It's very Ryan versus Brandon 2. Not Dorkman, but like the one where it's Ryan Weber and the Brandon fella in the auto shop. And like it's whenever he like first takes out the two swords and he does that same like full body like windmill thing in front of him, and like you see Keller just do that to just like bolt. And another one just like Keller in feats. I would just like to call attention to the fact that not a single clone trooper got within melee range.
Nobody. I mean, and that force push had some stank on it too.
Yeah,
dude.
That was a great force push, and man, Ahmed sold it all so well. And then like the fact that there was a whole ass chase too, and the flying through the skies of Coruscant, and it was just a great.
I really do hope we see more of him. I hope we find out he's still kicking.
Same.
And we get to see like, I would love nothing more than to see Din get to meet the other man who saved Grogu's life.
Oh, my heart.
There'll be
two dads. Yeah, I mean, he has Uncle Luke, he has Papa Din, and then he has Uncle Kelleran. Like that would just make me really happy.
Auntie Ahsoka.
But yeah, and Auntie Ahsoka, of course. It's like that TikTok I keep seeing where it's like the audio from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where it's the whole like to get with me you have to defeat my 7 evil exes. But like they put text on screen. It's like you have to defeat my like 6 lesbian aunts.
Love that.
And it's like Bo-Katan, Casca, Ahsoka, Cara. I'm forgetting people already.
Did you say Fennec already?
Fennec, yeah, thank you. Fennec and Pelimoto, yeah.
Pelimoto, yeah. Dude, I just had a thought, and if they're not already working on this, so help me God, they need to. And the fact that they're both Dave things makes me think it's possible. Tales of the Jedi season 2. 3 of the shorts are Keller and Beck.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, do like Tales of the Teachers. Do like Kelleran and Yoda.
Keller and Yoda, or like insert Kelleran. Now that we've seen him during Order 66, insert him into Clone Wars. What was he doing during this? What was he doing during this?
Yeah, absolutely. But going into like the modern day plot. First of all, obviously the giant alligator dragon beast eats the pterodactyl.
There's always
but
a
I
bigger
also,
fish.
huh?
There's always a bigger fish.
Always a bigger fish. Phantom
Also-
Menace rides tonight. What
Also, on that, what I was gonna say, like when the mythosaur happened, is in the water, and like before that was when we got the big alligator guy the first time, and as soon as I saw the mythosaur next after that, like the next big thing in the water, my brain immediately was like, "There's always a bigger fish."
There is. There truly is. Qui-Gon Jinn, never wrong. But like I also do like, we were talking about, like it's one of my favorite things about this season so far is that almost every single episode title, save for The Mines of Mandalore, which is pretty straightforward, has had multiple meanings.
Yes.
Alden, you mentioned this on Octo Radio last week for your Mando Diaries. But like the apostate applies to Grief Karga, Din Djarin, and Bo-Katan. The convert applies to Pershing and Bo-Katan. And here, like the Foundling, Din, obviously, Foundling, Grogu is his Foundling. Ragnar is the kind of the implied titular Foundling that they're trying to save. Obviously, Grogu, like a huge chunk of this episode, centers on him.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's kind of a foundling at this point.
Bo-Katan, she is in her infancy within the Children of the Watch. And that extends all the way up to even like the little baby pterodactyl chicken babies.
Yes.
Like they're foundlings now.
Dude, that means that whenever the show ends, season 4, season 5, whenever, there's gonna be 3 Dragon Rider Mandalorians. Like they are absolutely like the battle's gonna be like they're gonna be losing the battle. Din, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, everybody, fighting all of Gideon's forces or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're gonna see some aggressive ass fucking flapping in the distance, and it's gonna be
Return of
these
the King
3
Eagles
dragons.
moment.
Ragnar.
100%, yeah.
Like
fucking Ragnar on Dragon back.
Ragnar. Ragnar. I would like to give a shout out, by the way. I'd like to give a shout out to Michael McCoy, who made an excellent point, which is that the armor more than once is like, no blasters, it'll scare the beast, and the Paz brings a fucking minigun anyway.
Yeah.
So funny.
So I will say
he can't detach it from his armor.
I rewatched it, and I as much as I laughed at what Michael said, I am going to actually it because I had the same complaint, so I'm mostly doing this to correct myself as well. Their whole thing is don't fire a blaster at it because it will kill the kid. So Paz's logic is I'm going to get my kid back, then I'm going to shoot the dinosaur. Which, in my opinion, is an equally funny train of thought.
Yes.
It is very funny.
But yeah, no, I really do love like everybody's kind of having these moments of foundlinghood. It's a really beautiful episode. You see, it's very Willy Wonka in the way that like you see Ragnar being a little prick, and then immediately the galaxy's like, fuck them kids.
And that's after Grogu, as I said, Grogu is about that life.
Yeah,
where this Ragnar, I don't know if he was trying
he chipped him and put the blower in his lap.
I don't know if Ragnar was trying to toy with him. Ragnar was like, "Oh, just fire one. I got you. Get you again." Grogu just unloaded the whole clip of paintballs just at once. Amazing.
That was insane. I was like,
Grogu armored up and wearing a wrist launch bracer in the same episode. Hilarious. It's like this puppet's the gift that keeps on giving. Everything he does.
I try not to be the like, oh, that's an action figure kind of guy.
Yeah.
But this whole episode, I'm like, okay, well, Kelleran's going to be a Black Series. Grogu Grogu with his chest plate and his wrist launcher. There's one.
Yep.
Ooh, now you can get a Bo-Katan with a Mythosaur pauldron. It's just, man,
in the same way that there's a din for every level of the progression. I also, talking about the present day, there's a lot of discussion, and Jared, we've talked about it. Michael, we've talked about it as well in our group chat. Connor's in that chat as well. Case, and I'll be curious to hear what you have to say too. The entire, are they making the cult too cool? I do not think that the people that started this story are suddenly going to change what they're doing. I don't think that they're going to drop the ball and endorse them all of a sudden. I do think that the gaslighting does start to set in at the end here when Bo tries to tell her truth, and Armor Armor just starts kind of just undermining it immediately. Like, oh, this is
the Armorer was
Scotty.
Scotty.
It was a vision. And even when she's like, no, I'm being serious, I saw one for real, she's like, this is the way, I guess. Shut the fuck up. Like,
we're gonna tie that real quick. What the fuck did you just say?
The Armorer is Scotty, and the rest of us are Bo-Katan.
Very fair.
It's the truth.
And the Mythosaur is the fact that Scotty is anti-Scotty J-Ro.
100%.
The Mythosaur being on the shoulder too. That's perfect. They're attached at the hip.
That's Paul Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very true. Yeah, and so it's I'm not worried about it. I think that Bo is shell shocked. She lost her family. Her reign went to shit. She lost her entire crew. Her home is now blown up. I think that she cares for Din and Grogu as people, as friends, and there are people that want them to be more than just friends, and that's fine. I think they're hot.
It's Katie Sackhoff.
But yeah, I don't think
Facts,
that
Katie.
Facts, Katie.
You need to get the facts clip to be used in the show.
I'm not 100% comfortable using that clip given its context.
Fair. But it's like I do think that the push is going to come to shove, especially because the Armor and Bo-Katan directly blame each other for what's going on, and Din will have to make a choice. I get that people are like, they're a little too cool right now, but I think that's the complexity of the Children of the Watch, is that they are fundamentalists. Bo-Katan calls them they are fundamentalist extremists, but they are not without good intent, and that's not to defend them, but that's the nuance of it. They do put Foundlings above everybody else. They're not lying about it. They do have that as a core tenet. They did save Din Djarin. They have earned his loyalty. There is a they did save him and Grogu going all the way back to chapter 3. They have always been there. They've had their clashes and everything, and they're wrong about a lot of things. But Star Wars, can this group be reassimilated, redeemed, restarted, something? We'll see. But I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that Bo-Katan is suddenly like, never mind, this is cool.
These people are neat.
Case, I'm going to let you speak on this before you and Connor both speak on this before, because I have a lot of thoughts.
I got nothing really, dude. Most of what I wanted to talk about with this episode was Keller and Beck. I didn't really, if I'm being honest, after Keller and Beck, I kind of didn't really pay attention to the intricacies of the present storyline besides the Armorer gaslighting Bo-Katan. Because that was really cool. Because I remember I wasn't in the whole
Connor Chikiti, big fan of gaslighting. Anyway,
I wasn't into like Alden previously said, I wasn't into the whole. I personally wasn't deep into the whole are they gonna make this cult actually good? No, it's obviously it's a bit more nuanced than that, and it does kind of feel a little weird to me, at least, for there to be sort of a not world building, but world building framed in such a good intentions type way, but at the same time, the gaslighting scene. Come on, dude, the Armor has drunk the Kool-Aid and is trying to give it to everyone else, and Bo-Katan's what the fuck are you doing? Probably we don't know. That's the thing That's the one thing I don't like about the helmet thing. It's dude, let me see Katie let me see what Katie Sackhoff is actually displaying on her face. What is her emotional state as we can see? but at the same time, we can kind of tell from just like the way the camera lingers on her, and like the thing I like about the final shot too is like it lingers on the back of her head and the mythosaur, so it's like she's still like I don't want to say obsessed. That's not the word. But it's still
no, but like she's
still
sitting
on
on
her
it though.
mind.
Like she's like stewing with it.
She had a religious experience, a mythological experience.
She came to Jesus.
And Bo-Katan is also like, she's not a villain. I hate that discourse. She's not a villain, but she's had a redemption arc already. But she is prone. She's prone to rash decisions. She's prone to conflict. She is very complicated. There's a lot of turmoil inside of her. She did not kick Din's ass when she could have and take the Darksaber at the end of season 2. She sort of let it go, tried to put it behind her, tried to just sulk in her castle and go away and be separate from all this. And now she's the only witness to the thing that is supposed to signal the return of her people. And this crew that has been nice to her for a couple days is now denying that she saw that.
That's
even though they're the ones that preach the coming of that. There's your dramatic tension. I think a lot of the problem with this is in this discourse is that we're week to week. That's the problem.
It's the week to week thing, because I feel like I think you might have said it, Jared, on a previous episode, but I think it was you that said like something along the lines of like Mando works better as a binge.
Oh, I definitely didn't say that because I love the week to week speculation.
Okay,
I love it. Even though it produces some shitty discourse, I love the week to week hype.
It produces a lot of shitty discourse.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade away the week to week, but I do wish that people would understand what an episode is. The fact, like, they literally call them chapters. Like, I don't know how much clearer they need to be.
Right.
Like, I guarantee you, by the time this season's over, this is not a shot at anybody, by the way. I know there are people out there that have very valid takes, especially people that have dealt with religious extremism in their lives. I get it. I do understand that there's a lot of personal element in the show. It's a personal element for me is why I give Din a lot of slack. Slack. I cut him a lot of slack. I think that we'll get to the time the season's over, because it's like we still got, Sabine's out there with her point of view, and Fen Rao's out there with his point of view, and Koska and Axe and all these people, and like there's going to be a lot of like, how do we move forward? And I think that by the time we get some of that, people will be like, oh, okay, I see where it was going. Like, never forget that the first episode of this season says his arc out loud. He's about thinking that you have to default back. It's about being second guessed in your growth. And at some point, he's going to meet more people like the characters I named. And he's going to realize, like, I think that's where it's headed. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. They're wrong. They're nice, but you know what? So are a lot of like conservative families at Thanksgiving. They're really nice, and they are happy to have you home, and they do love you in their way. Doesn't mean they're not fucking wrong about a lot of stuff.
Right.
All that can exist at the same time,
Yes, 100%. Kason, you speak your piece because I have a little bit of ranting to do.
So like, well, I totally left my train of thought. I was like thinking about things. Then as soon as I got big on my own screen, I was like, wait a minute. One thing I was just thinking about though is I did see something earlier where somebody posted a theory where they think that the armorer is Ursa Wren, and I think that is absolutely insane. It's very interesting.
It's better than that Pong Krell Stan account talking about how it's Satine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't even seen that. What?
Yeah.
Ridiculous take. Ridiculous take. There's this account that's a Pong Krell account, and it's ridiculous.
We're just talking about the episode in general, right? We weren't like on.
Yeah, but mostly like the current day plot, because we did a lot. All our Keller and Beck front loading.
Okay. Yeah. I think that I seen the way that everybody jumps in and goes and like works together to save Ragnar was super cool. Like the way that like nobody hesitates at all.
Yeah.
And it's not like, yo, Pascal, get your fucking kid, bro, or like, like, oh, who's gonna save him?
Get your
like
fucking kid.
Yeah.
kid was being a little
Um,
dick, and now he got scooped up.
Yeah,
It's on
right.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's your child. That's your problem.
Yeah, and like everybody's like going on after him, and they're like, "Oh man, we're all running out of fuel for our jetpacks." And Bo-Katan's like, "I'm going to get his ass. Sorry about it." Like,
excuse me and my gauntlet.
Yeah, that everybody else was like, "Oh yeah, let's just use our jetpacks." And Bo-Katan was like, "Nah, we're hopping in the ship, and we're going to get him."
Mm-hmm.
And then where she's talking about the mythosaur with the armor, and the armor just hits her with the like, you see many things when you choose to walk the way of the Mandalorian. She's like, no, like for real, like I saw the damn thing.
I don't think
It's
you
like,
understood
bruh.
what I said.
Yeah, and like her like obviously like we know, but she's talked to Dan about the Children of the Watch, and she said like, yeah, they're a cult and they're like extremists with this shit basically. But like if anybody should believe her, or maybe not even believe her, but be the least bit like their ears perk up and they're like, oh really? And like the leader of the group that should be like that is like, this is the way, I suppose. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's like I thought you were about this, but like many fundamentalists, they're only about it when it's convenient.
Exactly.
And it's like, and again, it's these two characters, these women at the opposite ends. She says Bo-Katan Kryze is a cautionary tale. She did not win the Darksaber. Legitimately, I'm paraphrasing. It's her fucking fault. Over here,
Yeah.
Bo-Katan is like, your cult left Mandalore high and dry before the purge. It's their fucking fault. That is simmering. And now that I think that Bo-Katan sort of returning home and seeing the ruins and then seeing this and feeling like maybe we can rise again, and then having this person be like, I think that will be like I think from Bo's point of view, the natural step could be something like, well, it's because you want to be fucking in charge and you don't like that I'm the one that saw the symbol and that it came to me. And then from Bo-Katan's, from Armor's point of view, it's like, yeah, you've done real fucking well with symbols before, haven't you? Like, you already had a symbol of legitimacy and you blew it. Like, I really think we're going to see a knockdown drag out. Is that how you say that? Knockdown drag?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
I forgot how to English for a second.
I think I feel
they should just bare knuckle box each other at some point. Like, I would love to see Bo-Katan beat the shit out of her and pull her helmet off. Like,
that would be great.
This is the way, bitch.
Because that's what she says. Like, has it ever been removed by others? To Din.
Right.
Like, I feel like she'll remove the helmet off. It'll be like in Lion King when it's like, run away and never return. Like, whoo! I need it.
Here's my thing with the Children of the Watch right now. I am one of the people, and again, it's not like an incompetence thing necessarily so much as it's like sometimes, we all love Campbell, we all love the power of myth, we all love all that stuff. My fear with the whole they're accidentally going to say that the cult is cool is going to come from a place of demonstrating the solidarity and the community and the positive aspects of the Children of the Watch. And that they will accidentally co-sign the notion that Din had to be redeemed for some reason. And that's my fear. And I don't think it's going to happen, because every time, like every episode we get where like the cult is not proven to be empirically wrong by the show, they also take two more steps in a building two more steps towards building towards that final catharsis with that. And again, like, cults have a tendency to latch on to somebody when they're at their most vulnerable, when they're at their most isolated, and Bo-Katan fits that mark to a T right now. And Bo-Katan went from being completely black-pilled on everything to do with Mandalorian culture to, holy fuck balls, I just looked the mythosaur in the eyes in the living waters. And where she's at here, I think, is really fascinating because like everyone's trying to tell, is Bo-Katan pulling a fast one? Is she trying to coalesce the children of the Watch, or is she kind of getting radicalized herself? Charlie made a very funny joke in the Discord. Charlie Ashby made a very funny joke in the Discord we're all in, where he was like, "Yes, because when she took off her helmet, that was the eyes of somebody who's loving her life right now."
Yeah, by the fire. Yeah. Which is like,
Yeah.
how do you guys eat? And they're like, oh, you have the honor of staying by the flames because you're leading the hunting party. And it's like, she's sitting there like, fuck, is this life?
Is this life?
Yeah. I think the show is doing a good job. She's not buying in, but I see what you're saying. Big picture, the show needs the moment of, and I think it has to be a Din moment. Is, wait a second, you guys preach all this stuff about loyalty and solidarity are the way, which is good. We agree on this. Even non-children of the Watch Mandos agree on this. This is a thing in general. Awesome. But I showed the peak of love for my foundling son, and that was a problem for you? Like, that's the breakthrough that needs to happen.
Yeah, and like what I really appreciated about this episode with the modern day storyline is that in very subtle ways, I think it shows the continuing of cycles and like a generational trauma. Din is so children of the Watch pilled that it doesn't really occur to him that putting Grogu in that situation with his sparring match with Ragnar could be incredibly triggering. I don't think Grogu was holding back on Ragnar. I think Grogu got directly shot at, and that fucked with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the room when the blaster fire rings out. Grogu's been around that. I can't remember the last time someone was aiming for Grogu.
And not to defend Din, because it is an irresponsible sports dad moment.
Yeah.
By the way, I think the last time was when Din dove in front of him with Gideon. I think Gideon.
Yeah,
was the last
truly.
person.
Like Gideon.
That's the last time. But I think that from Din's point of view, he's like, this is my son, and we've been rolling around the galaxy, and he's seen all types of hell. He's seen, what happened on Sorgan. He's seen what happened on Tatooine. He's seen what happened. Like, I think Din is like, he's growing up on the fringes like I did, and he's growing up seeing badass things like I did, and it's fine. We got to remember, Ahsoka never says, by the way, this is what went down. Like, he might know the Jedi fell, but he doesn't know probably that Grogu has only Luke knows that.
Yeah. The amount of times that we've seen like repeats and reinterpolations of the same shot of like blaster fire being reflected in Grogu's eyes.
To the point where Grogu repressed, like as Luke says, I'm not teaching him so much as he's remembering.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. And you see Bo-Katan, like, and it's a cute moment where with the whole, like, my dad was the same way. He's just proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was the same way. He's just proud of me. He believes in all of this stuff. That's why I'm doing blood sports as a child.
Yeah. Bo-Katan, who when we met her was an actual radical terrorist.
Yes. She was in Mando ISIS.
She worked for Pre Vizsla, who only can be only gets a little bit of grace for not being as bad as Darth Maul.
Right.
That's about it. He got killed by a greater evil. That's the only thing that kind of gives him a little bit of reputational revisionist history. But it's true, and I think that all of that is why it needs to be a Din moment. I think that, I'm not saying you, Jared. I think in general there has been a little bit of like we're judging it before it's even really gotten.
Yeah.
It's still moving. Like, we still have a whole other half of the season to go. We know season 4 has already been written.
Yeah, you can't judge a person. Yeah, like you can't judge.
The story's not over. It took
story's
16
not over.
chapters. I mean, he removed his helmet in season 1, but we know that was because he was dying. It took 15 chapters for him to remove it, and then he removes it again in 16. Poor Grogu.
I'm interrupting for a moment. Can anybody else hear Richard screaming outside of the door?
No. but I'm happy for him. Oh, I heard it's something really faint.
Isaac's going loud as
Good for
shit.
him. Good for him.
See, at least he does that. My cat literally, he comes up to my door and he just reaches up and to the knob and he just goes and just slaps the shit out of it. Like it'll be like
Richard only does that when
and-
he wants to leave a room. Anyway, continue on. My apologies.
Yeah,
No,
that'll be like 4 a.m. Yeah,
I think cats are hilarious.
I mean,
man.
yeah,
wish I
no,
could have-
but it's like going with
But yeah,
that
like,
whole
what
thing
were
of
we- like it's only been a few chapters now since the reunion.
Yeah.
And like I said, Din knows in his subconscious that like he doesn't need this. And like Bo saw him bathe in living waters and she's looking at him like, brother, you don't need to do this, man. And it's like because of coincidence and necessity and then a need for refuge, she goes along with this. But I don't think, I think it's too early to say that the show, not that you're saying it, Jared. I know you're talking about future concern, a possibility.
Yeah.
But like, reactionary takes of like, oh, why is the show like why did it walk back all of Din's growth? And it's just like,
no, he's actively backsliding.
it's like
Part of his growth is his
that's a
degrowth.
choice. Yeah, it's a choice. Like any of you out there ever like, say I'm not gonna hang out with that person again, and then you do, whether that's romantic or otherwise, like that's part of life.
But that's what that is.
Yeah. How many times in Clone Wars did Anakin do a big dumb L and then like got better for a while before he did another?
Right.
Like this is part of it. Like
And how many of those times were those L's just simple wanton violence?
so many. So many of them. Most, in fact.
Yes.
From beating his wife's ex-boyfriend's ass to shanking people through the back. Like the whole range. Din is an unsocialized person whose entire experience is idolizing this group because they were there after his parents were mowed down. He has a reason to be endeared to them. This is when he's with other people, he shines. With Boba Fett, he found a friend that works with him out of respect. With Pelly, he found a friend that will joke with him and help him find what he needs. With Cobb Vanth, he found a friend that he can foster a community with. Like it goes on and on and on. He comes home and it's like, you're back at my house. It's my rules. And he's like, okay. Like, that's not them not knowing how to write the show. That's the fucking show.
Right.
So that's my
the
piece.
other thing that I was just thinking about it too is like because Bo-Katan went to the armor and like talked about the mythosaur. Like, first of all, how in the hell does she trust the armor more with that than she trusts Din?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a big concern for me because I was like, why the fuck are you telling her this when you didn't even tell Homeboy this? And then like now what? Like now does she go to Din and be like, hey, just to fill you in, like I told the armorer and she kind of blew me off, but I saw the fucking mythosaur when you got sucked down to the bottom of the living waters. And then like what is his reaction to that? Like is he like, okay, so like first of all, like Bo-Katan has no reason to lie about that. Although maybe the armorer thinks she does because she's trying to like claim.
Okay.
Like she's trying to like claim to Mandalore again. By being like, oh well, I saw the mythosaur, and like the armorer's like, yeah, okay, whatever, bitch, get over yourself.
I think it was sort of like maybe didn't want to tell Din because she didn't want to rattle him, perhaps in that moment. But after this experience with the children and I think maybe this experience with saving Ragnar made her think for a second. Maybe they're not
that she
bad.
could trust them.
Maybe she could let her guard down.
And then this was the
immediate.
Her,
no,
and then it was the oh no. Oh, okay. I think now she'll go to Din and be like, hey, I didn't tell you this because you were doing your whole thing and you were bathing and you were you almost drowned. I just went and told your mom, and she did not. Like I think it'll be the, I think or. I don't know. That again, it's one of those things where it's like all of this could be settled immediately next episode because that's the thing about the season has been the pace has changed.
Yeah, it's been
significantly
crazy.
Like, the quest of the trailers was done by the end of 2.
Right.
I think, and granted, I've had a bad habit of like assuming duplicity on the part of Bo-Katan from the beginning. Like I've always been like, people say like, oh, Bo-Katan's going to be the villain of this season. I've always said, no, I think the armorer and the Children of the Watch will be. But She is still that wild factor.
She's
Still that wild card. Huh?
She's Boromir.
Yes. And
she better not end up like Boromir.
I agree with you.
I swear to God, if she does, shit's going down.
It'll be a sad day on Star Wars Twitter.
Yeah.
The part of me feels like Bo-Katan's apprehension about telling Din is like, this motherfucker already has the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Now he gets to be like chosen by the Mythosaur while he bathed in the living waters with the Darksaber on his hip.
Yeah.
Seriously?
And I think part of it is her lived
stupid
experience
country
too. Like,
bumpkin who doesn't know shit about dick gets to be the fucking Mandalorian Messiah.
And it's like she's already given away. She's already seen Sabine give away a symbol of legitimacy like that before.
Yeah.
And she's obviously spooked by that. And I mean, she's a complicated figure. And I say Boromir because Boromir's whole thing was like always about protection and his people and honor and love and brotherhood and all these things that on paper are amazing. But his fear and his hubris always got the better of him. And he wasn't connected to the big magic in the same way that Bo's not connected to the big magic. She's not a Force character. This is not Jedi and Sith. But there is still an element of mythology to both characters. And Bo is absolutely that person that would be like, why not use this ring? Like, she might get to the point where she starts whispering in the ears of some members while Armor is asleep and being like, I saw the Mythosaur, by the way. You want to get the fuck out of here tomorrow? Like right. she might be trying to turn, it causes schism, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens because the Armor has the people, and she's, despite her conservative weirdo nature, has earned the trust of a lot of them because she's kept them safe and she's kept them, alive and going. She has numbers. Din Djarin has legacy and legend with the Darksaber, and now Bo-Katan has prophecy, and somewhere in there is a way forward between all three of those, and it's like, where do we go? Like, there's got to be some sort of unity, but some shit's got to get left behind.
Absolutely, and I think that is as good a place as any to end this bad boy on. Connor, where can the lovely people find you, buddy? I'm just kind of gonna go around to Alden, and then I'll do all the end stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at DepaBanana, Instagram ConmanJFO. I don't really use it that much. I co-host also over at For the Republic podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. We probably stream there. I don't know what to call it anymore. I don't know the words.
I don't know words.
Where else? Epic Confrontations question writer and co-host. Like Jared said at the top of the show, we have some really cool matchups coming, specifically the rematch. That's going to really probably shift some stuff going around. Not really. I don't really care about any of this stuff. I just write the questions, but it's fun. It's fun.
Connor's like, I don't care who's in control of the league. I just write the questions.
It's like I just write the questions for fun and see.
I just work here.
See if people get tortured by them.
He does.
I'm over here getting possessed by an evil cookie jar, and Connor's like, "Sir, this is a Wendy's."
That's the energy right now. Where else? SW editor IG.com/fiction. Got a lot of stories there, about 19 published. I don't have any published yet. I do have a few in the works, all about Cal. Probably coming soon. I don't know when. We'll figure it out.
That's also going to be the name of Connor's spinoff podcast here, All About Cal.
All About Cal.
No, it's funny. I've actually had thoughts about making one just as a joke. That's not specifically Star Wars. I'll tell you guys once we're done.
Excellent. Kaysen, where can the lovely people find you, buddy?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter as Cray Breezy. This is the only Star Wars related thing I do at the moment, at least. Might get into some other stuff later. The only other thing I do is manage my buddy's band. They are super heavy deathcore. So if you're into that, come check them out. The link will be in my bio on my Instagram page.
Absolutely.
That sounded so peaceful. When he said the words, "This is the only Star Wars thing I do," I was like, "What's that like?" That sounds nice.
Right.
Connor's like, two podcasts, a fan fiction network, movie trivia league.
And then Casey was just like, "This is the only thing I do."
I run the Calcast, Christina Ariel, and Matt Miknovitz fan club.
If I am not in front of this camera, I am either at a music venue or I am at T-Mobile. No other places.
Okay. No more details before you dox yourself.
Okay, fair.
I've almost done that before because I forget that people do actually watch and listen to this shit. Alden, buddy, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Hive at that Alden Diaz, THATALDEN-DIAZ. You can find me on Octa Radio, Star Wars Podcast, AHCHTO Radio, where right now I'm in the middle of the Mandalorian Diaries every week, analyzing the episodes and unpacking them in a solo, sort of raw, off-the-cuff style. Also, interviews are coming up again on that show. Going to get back into doing some great one-on-ones. Trying to book Sam Maggs right now. She's just busy as hell. We're going back and forth trying to figure out dates. I did just lock in a date with Lydia Kang for Cataclysm. Just got this hard copy today. Very excited to talk about this one. You can also find me co-hosting, co-producing Casterly Talk with Ken Knapsack of the Force Center podcast feed. That's where we do Game of Thrones, Ice and Fire, Lord of the Rings, and Willow coverage over there. It's our fantasy channel. Just did a Willow podcast the other night about the future of the show. We're going to be doing more stuff over there going forward.
I got to catch like the last 15 of that, and that was a phenomenal show you guys put on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And what else do I do? Do I do other stuff? Epic Conversations we talked about. Ionized Bastards we talked about. Go catch the first season of that. Going to be trying to write a couple more places. Wrote some stuff for StarTrek.com toward the end of last year. Going to be trying to do some more of that when Strange New Worlds comes back. And Star Wars Celebration. That's the last thing. Catch me Sunday at 4 in room 14 if you're going to London on a panel with Goose from Triad of the Force. Kari Guerrero, Estar Guardia will be joining us on that panel. Super excited to talk about the Latin representation there. And getting...
I was going to say, I didn't see what the panel is about this year. Is it kind of like a sequel to last year?
It's like a sequel. Yeah. So like last year in Anaheim, we did sort of like the general Latin representation in Star Wars panel, because despite my appearance, I'm Puerto Rican for those playing at home. And this year's panel is sort of a follow-up on that on the other side of Andor, where it's like now we have had the show that's so baked into the fabric of it, and Mandalorian's back, which is again another Latin-led show. So we had Andor behind us, we're in the middle of Mandalorian, and the next thing is Ahsoka, all led by Latin people. And so that's sort of the messaging there. So get excited for that. And find me on Hinge, I guess, as well.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so
someone make my man
hell
blind.
Yeah.
Dog.
This guy got that dog in him.
Good amazing. God. I love how Kaysen, don't tell people where you work. Alden, I'll take you home.
We'll just go back and
parasocial relationship, baby.
We'll just go back and we'll scrub where I said that, and I'll just insert the pink phone dudes.
So good.
I say this every time Alden is on because he is one of, if not my favorite guest to have on. He is one of, if not the best person in the space. He's one of my favorite people to talk to have these conversations with, even though he's on the list to become my next arch rival in Epic Confrontations. Speaking of, again, go check out our match that's coming out this week at some point. I can't remember the date off the top of my head.
Saturday.
It is Saturday. It's on my birthday.
Well, that's right. Happy birthday. When this comes out, Jared's birthday is tomorrow. So if you're seeing this when it comes out,
yes,
wish a happy birthday to Jared. If you're seeing this after it comes out, wish a belated to Jared.
So yeah, I get that match that we certainly played together comes out on my birthday, and that's a nice little present to me, I guess.
This is the way, I guess.
This is the way, I guess.
That needs to be a shirt.
I really do want to put that on a shirt. This is the way, I guess.
guess.
Like it is
Just
the
in parentheses
yeah,
at the bottom.
this is a little bit of a raunchy joke. But it's like the Cards Against Humanity, like the unenthusiastic hand job, like of Star Wars. Like this is the way, I guess.
Yeah.
My favorite card from Cards Against Humanity, I've said this before, it makes me laugh every time. It's not even that dirty. It's not dirty at all. It's just that card that says, when your stepdad Rick drinks your Mountain Dew. That's the energy of like telling somebody on the mythosaur and them being like, okay. Like
one of my favorite PG rated cards that I got was the card prompt was, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with blank. And I don't know how I won this. It was just such a stupid card that I pulled, but the full card was, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with the express written consent of Major League Baseball.
My dad, who one day the other two people on the screen who aren't Kaysen will hopefully get to shake the hand of Ethan Stubbs.
I love Ethan. Ethan's great.
His name is Ethan. Oh
Yes.
my god.
He's fantastic.
I love this man already.
You have not lived until you've played Cards Against Humanity with my father, and you can see the moment he gets dealt the card Daniel Radcliffe's delicious asshole, because that man that he cannot. He will just stare at the card and laugh hysterically quietly. Like he will just read it and keep reading it, and the moment
Just
he gets
rereading
to
it over
plays it and then just looks at you with like glee in his eyes, getting ready to watch someone else read it out loud.
That's amazing. That makes me so happy.
Oh my god, it's fantastic. But yeah, you guys can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, and on our website www.nerdacademypodcast.com. If you're feeling generous, give us some fucking money. Give me $1.
I'm never ready for that one. Never ready for it.
Oh my god, wait, I don't know if Kaysen knows this story. So Kaysen, it was during Andor season. Spencer was a manager at a museum, and the Renaissance Fair was coming through, and the Pittsburgh Renaissance Fair is where I got that video. I recorded that. The Give Me $1 guy. His whole thing was that he was just this like vagrant. His whole thing is that he's this vagrant hobo who yells at people to give him $1. He's very funny. He does that professionally all over the country.
That's awesome.
Somewhere on TikTok, there's a video of that guy like giving like a Marxist analysis of the world. Just sitting on the fucking ground at a Renfest, just like the material conditions of the proletariat. Like it's so funny, and I should have saved it, and I don't have it, and it changed my life. I'm like, that's fucking Give Me $1 guy. Give Me $1 guy, super based. But Spencer had this group of Renaissance festival people come through his restaurant, and they're sitting in the little diner area. And he's talking to you. He's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And the one guy's like, "Oh, like I'm like a fire breather." "Oh, what do you do?" "I'm like basically a professional princess." And the guy goes, "Oh," he goes, "Oh, what do you do?" And this guy goes, "I play this street bum and I yell at people to give me $1." And Spencer, almost like Usual Suspect style, dropped his coffee mug and was like, "You fucking what?"
He said, "There's no way."
Yeah. And so Spencer was like, "Let me know if this is you." So he pulls up an episode of the podcast. He specifically pulled up our interview with Eric Schwartzel for Red Carpet, which is a great interview. Go watch it. And he skips to the end and shows him the "Give me $1," and the guy's like, "Hey, that's me." So yeah, Spencer met Give Me $1 guy.
That's awesome.
Spencer looks like he's at Disney World meeting a character. Like that's his Mickey meetup.
That's funny as hell.
Kaysen did not know that.
What do you mean? I'm right here.
But yeah, speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Keandre Lloyd. always wonder if there's anybody who exclusively listens to this show, like you never watch the YouTube version.
Yeah, the clips make no sense.
What do you think is happening in that clip? I've explained it before, but if you missed me explaining it, what do you think is happening there?
Shit.
Keandre Lloyd, and to my fellow policy wonk Paco, or as he's going by on our Patreon, $1.5 billion, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
You know, Nick Johnson, who is no longer a $10 patron, which is fine. All of my I have like a cycle of like, I'll be a patron for somebody for a couple months and then come back later. They posted that clip of them screeching. And I decided to make that what I'd play when I shouted them out.
I love that.
And after that, I said, everybody gets a clip with a shout out. You tell me what, you send me the link and I'll put it on the StreamYard. And I think I accidentally set the precedent. Everybody thinks the clip has to be of some type of horrifying guttural scream. And I don't think there's any way that from now until the end of time that anybody will sign up to be a $10 patron and they don't pick a video of someone fucking yelling. So that the end of this show will always just be the most unprofessional part of it, which is just clips of people screaming.
The most unhinged shit you've ever listened to.
The most unhinged shit you've ever seen. Like I said, guys, if you're watching this on the day that it is uploaded tonight at 7 p.m., Jedi Council March Madness live stream. Very excited for this. Going to hang out. It's going to be like a laid back version of the Versus series. We're still going to be, Spencer and I will still be taking it as seriously as we can, while I'm sure the rest of our panelists are going to be having some fun with it. Speaking of Versus series stuff, $5 tier on the Patreon. You get, as of so far this year, Lord Starkiller versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn versus Ahsoka Tano, Exar Kun versus Mace Windu, and Reva versus Kanan Jarrus, which comes out on April 1st for our $5 and up patrons. Go check that out. $5 a month gets you an entire back catalog of nearly 30 bonus episodes of Spencer and I doing some of our favorite hashtag content to make. I know Alden hates that word, so I had to sneak it in there real quick.
His look.
I know, he's shooting daggers at me. Like I said, obviously, I'm going to run that trailer again at the end here. April 10th, the Bombadcast YouTube channel, 8 p.m. Be there. Be there to witness history. Be there to witness my revenge. Be there to see the walls of J-Ro crumble.
The walls of J-Ro. That's so good.
Thank you.
That's an incredible promo.
I'm slowly actually getting good at this.
I'm so hyped.
Guys, Alden's line of "Your lust for J-Ro will destroy" is just one of my favorite all-time lines.
Very good.
Well,
it's so well delivered.
Go get ready to relive it because I'm running the trailer again. So thank you all so very much for joining us. Thank you, Alden, for coming by. We're honored that you have joined us, and may the force be with you always.
On which planet did
I
Luke
can tell
Skywalker
you everything
and Ben Solo
about this planet
confront the Knights of Ren
except
in the
its
second
motherfucking name.
Buy
merch.
Winner by way of technical knockout.
We have some beautiful musicians.
I am the king. I am the reigning champion. I will always be above you. I am bigger than you. I am wiser than you. I am stronger than you. I am better than you. I am God.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Trivia Loser Jedi.
And I'm Scooter.
And we're here to tell you that we aren't that great at trivia, and I mean we're downright poo-poo at it. Yeah, ever since then I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about Elfrona will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. Now I have this like imaginary rivalry with you in my fucking head, where it's like, I want J-Ro!
Jared, you lost to me in trivia. You're a loser. You're a loser. I will not. You lost to me in trivia.
Jared lost me. That charlatan friend, mind you, who has been ducking me and running from me for years now.
Your lust for Jero will destroy you.
And you will learn to rue the day you underestimated the power of the Bi Republic.
Is this your king? Is this your king?
You think about the things you applied to content creating and the things that you maybe have held you hold to a high standard that people also love, and there's that one little dark spot in all of this, and you're like, man, I can't believe that I've gotten this far and just being a part of a bigger community, but there's this one little black spot in this beautiful Monet of a painting, and it's just the fact that I kicked your ass in trivia. Literally nothing makes me happier.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!